everybody. Welcome back to Day 5, Breakfast with Bob from Hotel West End in beautiful Nice. My name is Bob Babbitt. We're brought to you by Master Spas, SFuels Go Longer, HOKA Let's Fly, deboer wetsuits, Forum Smart Swim Goggles, Zoot Sports, the original triathlon brand, Quintana Roo, Premium Plus Sports, and of course our Challenged Athletes Foundation. Our next guest, Mathias Lyngso Petersen, joins us from Denmark. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm good. Really good to be back here.
It's a pleasure to get to chat with you. So this year you win Ironman Austria with a 2:45 marathon, 7:56. That's a pretty big win.
Yeah, and also my first international professional win. So that was a really good one to take off.
That's awesome. And then of course when you have a win like that, you're high. You're thinking, "Oh my God, this is great. Oh, when's the next race? Ironman Switzerland. It's only a couple weeks away. I'm all recovered." And what happened there?
Yeah, I think after 10K I was lying on the tarmac and doing a fish out of water.
And while you're doing this, you're going, "That was a mistake."
No, yeah, but actually it was a little bit of a bigger plan.
Yeah.
Because we knew at the beginning of the year that I would have my first family holiday for 10 years.
Yes.
We're going to Japan.
Oh, wow.
And we'd schedule it, and my coach was okay, then we need to get as much racing as possible in your legs before
Yes.
the holiday. And then he thought the good idea would be to do, and ironically, Austria as a warm-up race.
Yes.
And then Switzerland as the main race.
Oh, that's right. So 2 Ironmans, back to back,
Back to
3 weeks apart?
Yeah, and then Austria was supposed to be the warm-up, and then Switzerland was the main dish.
The appetizer.
Yeah.
The appetizer was Austria, where you go 7:56.
Yeah.
And you win the race.
Yeah, and then the main course
Was where you ended up like a flounder on the pavement. It's just flipping back and forth. That's
Yeah.
right. So, but early in the season, Ironman South Africa got third there. I know it was a short swim, but still you ran 2:45 there, 2:45 at Austria. You know your running is solid. You're cycling 4:17, 4:20, very consistent. You like this course?
Yeah, actually, I really like it. I think I would have thought the descent was worse than it is.
Yes.
Because people have talked so much about it, but I think being a European athlete,
You're used to mountains.
yeah, and we go to training camp in Spain and south of France and Italy, and we do these kind of descents. I've never raced on a course like this, but it wasn't totally unfamiliar.
Yes.
To me.
Yeah.
But I think the rest of the course is way tougher than it looks. The climb is not as tough. I think it's as tough as you make it.
Right.
But when you got to the plateau up in the mountains, you're doing 50 kilometers an hour at one point, and then you're doing 25 the next, and it's very undulating.
Yes.
And I think that's gonna catch some people by surprise.
Because they figure, I did all the climbing, now I get the aero bars and just go. No.
No, if you really need to save something for
Yes.
up there, because the bike is not gonna roll by itself up there.
No. You sort of need to pedal it. I like that. And then, so you were mentioning the downhills. A lot of people were saying that these aren't the type of downhills that you could just coast down. You have to be pedaling the whole time.
Yeah, I think you kind of have to be pedaling, and you have to be pedaling and then figure out when you need to touch the brake.
Yes.
And I think the guys who are going to go for the fastest are the guys who touch the brakes the least. Because it's not if it was a steeper downhill, you have a lot more braking.
Right.
But I actually think you don't have that much braking on this one because
Yes.
it's not that steep.
So last year your first Kona experience?
Yeah.
Pretty fun.
Yeah.
Got 16th.
Yeah.
So that shows that we see that all the time. Someone comes and goes, 15th, 16th. Next year they're 4th, 3rd. They move up because they figured it out a little bit. They got the experience.
Yeah, and also I unfortunately got a 5-minute break in Kona.
Oh, you got a penalty.
I got a penalty.
I don't think you were alone. A lot of people got penalties.
That was actually the funny part. Coming to that tent, and I think we were 5 guys standing inside together, and just yeah, this kind of sucks. Yeah, it does.
And we're all, you were like, hey, what was your penalty for? I'm not quite sure. And what was yours for? I don't know what I got a penalty for, but
yeah, I think there was a little bit of a misunderstanding with interpretation of slotting in.
Yes.
And I think that there was a lot of the European athletes, myself,
Yes.
had one like understanding of the rule,
right?
And then the judges had another one, and on the day you just have to respect the judge. Like
that's just the way it is.
That's the way it is. But I think that was why there was so much debate afterwards. Like it was a miscommunication between.
You know what's tough is that race, because of the way the swim is going to pack people up. Then you get on the Queen K Highway and you got 8-10 guys, and you can't go
like 20. Like
20, yeah. And you can't just go, okay, I'll pass this guy and then I'll pass this guy. You got to pass everybody, which sort of puts you in a position of, okay, I'm just going to stay here, right? I'm going to stay safe. I'm not going to get a penalty. I'll wait for the run. That makes it that's sort of anti-racing from my perspective. That's hard.
Yeah, no, but both anti-racing, but I also think it's because the level is so high. Like on the TV coverage, it looks like people are like sitting in, but in reality, everybody is just riding at their limit, 12 meters apart.
Exactly.
Because everybody just know that going out of town, you need to like be at the front of that pack.
Right.
And like if everybody want to be there, then like
they're going to be there.
They're going to be so I think that's going to be good with this course. Like you have the first 10 kilometers pretty flat.
Yes.
And then you have to climb to where you can like kind of
get into your own little rhythm, and yes.
Yeah, and I think we're gonna see like probably smaller packs, like 3 or 4 or 5 guys.
Yes.
Who find like the same rhythm, and then they will be like 30-20 seconds apart. Bam,
right.
Bam, 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 bam.
Do you? And when you we were just talking to Braden Curry, and he was saying, a lot of people might get worked pretty hard with the climb and then with the plateau, but they'll be able to get their nutrition back on that downhill. They'll be able to fuel up for the last 30, 40 minutes of the ride. And the fact that most of the bike rides you're doing are 420, this could be more like 440, right? This could be an extra 15, 20, 25, 30 minutes. So you have to think differently in terms of your nutrition.
Totally. And I think you also need to like get a lot in before the downhill, because the first part of the downhill you're not going to be able to like get something in.
Right.
So I think the last like counter climb before the descent, you're going to see guys.
You have to get a lot of chowing.
Yeah, you're going to be choking it down, and then you have the small like counter hill on the long descent.
Yep.
Like, I think 1.5K, and I think again you're going to see people like really chewing it down, because those are like the 2 spots where you really can get some nutrition down. Especially if you want to attack the descent, you can't be like drinking and taking gels and stuff like that.
So 2011, that's when you were injured as a swimmer. And so your coach suggested triathlon, heroes, Javier Gomez, Jan Frodeno. What was it like for you going from being a professional, like a high-level swimmer, to moving into triathlon? Was it something you enjoyed right away?
Yeah, I think I really like the atmosphere of triathletes.
Yes.
Like I think it's a little bit of like a surfer mentality. Like
you're right.
We are pretty tough, but we're also really chilled, and it's like whatever. And like I'm gonna do this race that's gonna destroy myself for a week. Yeah, whatever.
I'm gonna lay on the tarmac like a flounder, and that didn't work. Yeah,
and I'm gonna do it again tomorrow.
Great.
But no, and also like the outdoor part of it.
Yes.
Like as a swimmer, you spend so much time in.
Just looking at the black line.
Yeah.
Now, was your goal? Were you at the caliber in swimming, Olympic caliber?
No.
Okay.
That was also why I never had a future within swimming.
Okay, and so but even the fact that you were a top swimmer, did you think about the ITU format and the Olympics, or not really?
Yeah, actually, I started out trying to get on the short course national team.
Yes,
and I actually made that in 2014, I think.
Okay.
I got on it and spent 3 or 4 years doing short course, but I never got past the European Cup level.
Okay.
But I did it with Mickey and Daniel and a lot of the Danish guys. We actually was doing that together.
Was Magnus part of that or not?
No, Magnus was
he went right long distance.
Yeah, and he came in like from the side. But me and Daniel actually got kicked off the national team on the same day. Like
you got kicked off the team?
Yeah,
Why? For what?
Day. I think for Daniel he had some problems, which meant he wasn't really performing. And from my point of view, it's more like I wasn't good enough.
Right.
Like I wasn't good enough for short course, so it was a fair decision.
Yes.
And then I was like, okay, I might as well
go long.
Go long, try that, and had some way more success.
And also more fun.
Yeah.
I mean, the nice thing is nobody's telling you what to do. You're your own person. You can go do whatever you want to do as a long course athlete.
Yeah, and also the short course racing is a different kind of beast. And I think if you're into that, it's really cool. But if you're not into that, then it's gonna really be a struggle for you. And I struggled with it. Like the last many races I did in the German Bundesliga were not good experiences.
Right.
Like I wasn't enjoying it because I just got beat up.
Well, and the other side of that is it's a little, because the draft legal aspect of it puts you in a position where your own skill set, especially if you're a cyclist, sort of goes away.
Yeah, and also like everything is just so fast, and you need to be like be really good at thinking on your feet and making like the
quick decisions,
and out with the elbows and being a little bit of a jackass.
Because the idea is you are racing against that other guy.
Yeah,
you got to keep him from coming by.
Yeah, and you're like there's a certain amount of positions, and again everybody's fighting for it, and there's just way more guys than there is in short course, long course, and I think that was what I struggled with. Like, I'm way better if I like give me some like workspace and I can do my thing.
Do your own thing, and and then there's when you go to these races, and I don't think you could do this in short course, you really can't be that friendly with other people, right? But in these races, it's really about you against you and you against the course.
Yeah, and also you against the other guys. But I think it's triathlon. Luckily, I think we're at a point right now that there are not that many of us.
Right.
So like when we meet, it's friendly, and like we understand the fact that we are competitors.
Right.
But we are also on a personal level, like
you can be friends.
We can be friends. Yeah. Like we just met Bradley. Like you're friendly and you talk, but yeah, I'm not gonna give him an inch on Sunday.
On race day. You can buy him a beer afterwards.
Yeah, totally. I'll buy him too. but I'm not gonna give him an inch, and he's not gonna give me an inch.
Well, that's what's so funny, because he's been training with Jan Frodeno for the last 5 months, and he goes, I love Jan. He's the GOAT. He's the greatest of all time. But on race day, if I can take him down, I'm taking him down.
Of course, like that's the deal. Like I think that's the good thing. Like you have this gladiator mentality. Like we go into the arena, and when we're in the arena, like we fight to the death, and then we kind of leave the arena again, and then
then we go back to the arena tomorrow.
Yeah,
and do it again.
Yeah, but as soon as we're outside of the arena, I think like most guys in long course actually, you can go and train with the guys you've got to go into the arena with on Sunday. Exactly. Yeah. And I think that's also the biggest strength in Denmark, is that we're really good at that. We're really good at sharing knowledge, and really good at training together and taking the journey like together.
Yes.
But on the other hand, we also really, really want to beat each other.
Badly. You want to be the number one Dane guy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, so much bragging right. So much bragging right.
So on one hand, Magnus is great, wonderful guy. You have fun with him, but you'd much rather have him behind you.
Yeah. But also, like, I think if you have Magnus behind you on Sunday, you're in for a really good day.
What would you be happy with here?
I think a top 10 would be like...
That would be great.
Really solid day, because that would be a nice progression from last year. And again, it's my second World Championship.
That's right. You were 16th last year in Kona.
Yeah, and I think I still have a little bit to learn in this like championship game.
Yes.
And I think I'm not at a level where I just can walk in and say like, I'm gonna win it. Like because I have too much respect for the course and for my competitors to say something like that. But I'm still gonna like.
You're still going to go for it.
Of course.
Yeah. It's fascinating, because the difference between a world championship, as you found out last year, and your typical triathlon is maybe there's 3, 4, 5 guys at your regular triathlon, and now there's 30 or 40.
Yeah.
And every one of those people nobody's coming here, or nobody went to Kona thinking, if I don't have a good race, I'm going to go to Arizona, or I'm training through everybody is here to, and I've not spoken to anybody who says, I'm going to be out of the top 10, or I'm here to win. I'm here to be in a podium.
Exactly, yeah. And I think, and you also, for the racing part of it, you're going to fight for all the positions.
Yes.
At a normal Ironman, you might it's kind of either drop out or be like, okay, now it's not my day. I'm going to have a training day and then back off on the run. But like for this, like the battle for 7 or 8 plates is almost as big as for first and second place. Like
Absolutely.
everybody, like you're not giving anything because this is the 80 race. There's nothing to save. Like
No. And you've done how many full Ironman distance races have you done now? There's a bunch. I was looking at this like in 2023. Now wait a second. You did this year. You did Lanzarote, and that's the other thing. I look at like a Lanzarote. When you get second to Lanzarote, which is one of the most brutal, right? 456 bike is probably more like this course.
Yeah.
And 248 marathon that's a really hilly course. There's not one part is flat, and the wind is in your face. Even on the climbs, it's brutal.
Yeah.
Right. So that means that sets up well for this race.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah, but I both yes and no, because I think Lanzarote is tougher on a different way.
Right.
Like Lanzarote is tougher because like the course like makes you, it's you against the course.
Right.
But I don't think here like the climbs here are not tough enough to be like you. It's still you, like you're still in control.
Right.
Of going up the climbs here, like you can pace yourself. A lot of the time in Lanzarote, when you're in the headwind, like you can't pace yourself.
You're just suffering.
Yeah, if you pace yourself, you fall off your bike.
I mean, that's a thing that people don't understand. In Lanzarote, when you're climbing, you have wind. Most of the time, when you're climbing, there's no wind. There is so different because the wind comes over. I've never seen anything like it.
No, and it's from all different kind of angles, and the race organization is like really kind to you, so they make sure you go like this direction and this direction, so you
get the wind from all different angles.
Yeah.
And then the run, people think it's a hard run too.
Yeah, and it's also a hot run.
Yes.
Yeah, like you're really suffering down at the beach, like running.
Yes.
But yeah, it's a bucket list race. Like
Right.
It's a race like pretty much no other on the.
Yes, and I don't think I've ever been in a cooler place for an award ceremony.
No.
That cave, they had oh my God, that was very, very cool. The run here being flat, it will be hot, but obviously you're running in Lanzarote, you'd understand heat. Is this run good for you? Flat?
Yeah.
Would you prefer, yeah?
Yeah, I think it's okay. It's flat and not that technical. Like I'm a pretty tall guy.
Yes.
And my running style is also taking pretty big steps. So yeah, not that many twists and turns is my advantage.
That's good.
And I also think that the run course here is going to be really exciting because of the fact that we have
crowds.
The crowds, and you also have all the turnarounds.
Yes.
Like in Kona, you have no idea where you are.
That's a great point.
I remember then like running out to the energy lab, like the part of the course on the Queen K, like you're in no man's land.
Nobody,
like there's you
there's
and
no
an
crowds.
station.
Yeah, there's no crowds. There's no nothing.
Yeah.
Here, people are going to be screaming.
People are going to be screaming at you all the time. Going to see like guys coming against you, or like you're going to have a whole different kind of idea of where you are in the race and where your competitors are. And I also think that's something you have to take into account with like the mental side of the run course here, that you need to really be cool and stay to your own strategy, because a lot of guys is going to be pushing you to do otherwise.
We talk a lot about the Norwegian method and the Norwegian team, and really at this point it's Gustav and it's Christian. And when I look at Denmark, and it's you and it's Daniel and it's Magnus, and there's just the list goes on and on and on. What happened in Denmark over the last number of years where there's so many great young long distance triathletes?
Yeah, I think a lot of it started with the short course national team being shorted down. A lot of guys going long course.
Yes.
And we were all based in the national training center.
Yeah.
And as a competition to that, in Aarhus with Christian Høgenhaug, they had a elite center, and then in Copenhagen with Magnus had an elite center. And I think there was a lot of like healthy rivalry. Like the guys, Christian would be like, I don't want to, like, if these guys can do it, I can do it with myself. And like Magnus be like, hell no, I'm gonna be better than those guys. And we would be like, no, we're the national team. Like, who do you think you are?
We're better than you guys.
Yeah. And then we like kind of
pushed each other up.
And I think that was why like a lot of healthy competition and a lot of like, if that guy can do it,
right,
then I'm gonna try as well.
Why not?
combined with the fact that I think we're also really good at sharing knowledge.
Yes.
Within the Danish Federation and within Denmark, and have a healthy relationship to each other, but still want to beat each other.
Well, you know what's fascinating about that, because having the knowledge is one thing, it's what somebody does with it. So you can put it used to be people were very secretive and they didn't share their workouts, but it doesn't make sense, because the reality is, who's going to do them? If you don't have the capabilities of doing the workouts and being healthy, what's the big deal about sharing it?
Yeah, and also like workouts is only one thing. It's like it's the bigger picture. Like you can personally, I share everything on Strava.
Right.
Like you can, and that's also all my numbers, everything.
Yeah.
But like, good luck. Like figuring
good luck doing it.
Good luck. But good luck like figuring out what I'm trying to do, because it's a part of a bigger plan, and like you don't know the schedule, you don't know how I'm feeling, you don't know what I did. Like that I had a family meeting or something like that, and. So yeah, it's you can be so and so secretive, but I don't think that's like that's not what makes a difference. Love like we're all different, and we all have a different approach to what works.
Thanks so much for taking time.
My
Have
pleasure.
a
My pleasure.
Great race on Sunday. It'll be really a treat to watch you. Again, Mathias Lyngso Petersen. I got that. Lyngso Petersen has been our guest. Again, Breakfast with Bob from beautiful Hotel West End. Hold on. We will be right back.